Hello, everybody, and welcome to the November 2023 Gaming PC Builds of the Month. My name is Corey with NewbComputerBuild.com. All right, let's get into it, right into it. This is always a great month to build a PC, or I guess to buy anything in general, with sales such as the Black Friday sales or Cyber Monday deals, that sort of thing. There's usually deals on the hardware specifically, not necessarily the big ticket items, what I've found in the past, such as CPUs and GPUs, but there could be sales going on lately, given that some of the cards have been out for a bit. But it's more specifically usually around things like memory or storage space with your SSDs, etc. So keep an eye out for that because you can probably bring the costs down of these builds overall. However, costs have been pretty stable, and these builds have been updated again this month to bring you the best performing gaming PC builds per dollar spent. So let's jump into it, starting with the $1,500 build. Then we'll go into the $1,000, $800, and then $500 builds. Each of these builds is put together with performance in mind. So keep that in mind if you're looking to customize your build, such as use a different case, etc. That is totally optional and totally up to you. But this is these builds are targeted towards those who really want to minimize the dollars and just get those gaming FPSs, maximize those gaming FPSs overall. But if you have any comments, please leave them or visit the site at newbcomputerbuild.com. Let's jump into it. So the highest end build, the $1,500 build for November 2023. This build has had the most changes overall, and in fact, for the better, as you'll see here in a quick second with the CPU. But yeah, who's this build for? This is for the those that really want to max games out at resolutions from 1440p, and play very well into 4K resolutions, or even max out 1080p if you have that, but really want that flexibility. This is that build for you. If that's what you're aiming for, then this build is for you. All right, let's jump into it. So the $1,500 build, the CPU for this month featured is the AMD Ryzen 7 7800X 3D gaming CPU. This is one of the best gaming CPUs on the market right now, and this one replaces the previous Ryzen 7600X, which held the spot, which is still a viable option should you want to go with that, or save a little money and go with the 7600X, or and want a more rounded PC than just gaming focused. Perhaps you can do that as well. But this month we have the powerful Ryzen 7 7800X 3D for $369 at the moment. That CPU does not come with a cooler, so we're including the Noctua NH U12S Redux air cooler here for $54.95. Motherboard here is, excuse me, is the MSI Mag B650 Tomahawk Wi-Fi gaming motherboard for $219.95. And for the graphics, the real gaming driver for this build, gaming performance driver, mind you, is the Gigabyte GeForce RTX 4070, coming in at $549.99 at the moment, and that's held steady since last month. Memory we have is the Crucial Pro memory, 32 gig, whopping 32 gigs here of memory, DDR5, 5600 mega transfers per second kit of memory for $76.49 at the beginning of the month here. For storage, we're featuring the Crucial P3 Plus 1 terabyte NVMe SSD for $43.99. Power supplies, the Cooler Master NWE Gold 850 V2 fully modular power supply for $95.99. And then the case for this month is a Fantex Eclipse G360A for $89.99, bringing us to a swift $1,500.35 at the very beginning of the month. Keep in mind, these are estimated costs, as costs do fluctuate throughout the month, but at the beginning of the month, this is the cost that this build lands at right now. If you're looking for other hardware alternatives or upgrades, you can visit the site, as we do feature those as well under each of these individual builds. So I'll just leave that note there. But moving on to the next one, the best $1,000 gaming PC build of the month. So this build, who's the $1,000 build for? Well, you have $1,000. This build's for you. Or if you're aiming for presets, or to play at resolutions around 1080p, kind of into 1440p at higher settings in games, or extreme settings at 1080p, for example, this build is for you. All right, let's jump into it. The CPU is the AMD Ryzen 5 7600 for $218.98. An alternative to this one could be the 7600X, which was kind of talked about a bit in the $1,500 build, or was included last month in the $1,500 build for a little bit more, but it doesn't come with a cooler, mind you, so I'll leave that note there. But the Ryzen 5 7600 is the one for the $1,000 build this month, so it does come with the AMD Wraith Stealth cooler, so no cost associated with that, but you always have the option to upgrade cooling should you want to down in the future. Motherboard is the Gigabyte B650 MDS3H motherboard for $134.99 at the moment. The graphics card for the $1,000 build is the Gigabyte GeForce RTX 4060 Ti for $399.99. The memory here is a crucial RAM kit of 16 gigabyte kit of memory, sorry, for DDR. Whoa, mouthful. Crucial 16 gigabyte kit of DDR5 4800 megahertz memory for $45.99. Storage we have is the crucial P3 1 terabyte NVMe SSD for $42.99. Power supply is the Cooler Master MWE Gold 850 watt power supply, fully modular, $95.99. You don't need 850 watts for this build, mind you. And if you could save a little more, you can go with slightly less wattage. But this is a great value power supply for this month, so why not go with it? But 850 watts definitely gives you a lot of upgrade room for the future as well, should you want to beef out this build. PC case is the Zalman S2 for $54.99, and then this comes into $1,011.93, so just over that $1,000 mark for November 2023. Moving on, the best $800 build. So this build is for those that really want to play high settings at standard HD resolutions, so 1080p resolutions without a hiccup. And this is probably a build that would fulfill probably a lot of individuals' needs if you were being rational and quite honest about what games you're going to play, etc. But but if you do want to upgrade ideas, you can come to the site, like I had said prior, or consider a higher budget, such as the ones that we just went through. So the best $800 build for November 2023, the CPU is the Intel Core i3 13100F CPU, $118.99 at the moment. We're including the stock cooler, which is the Intel Laminar cooler, so no cost associated with that. Motherboard is Gigabyte B76 MDS3H motherboard, coming in at $139.99. The graphics card for this one, featured this month, is the Power Color Fighter RX 6700 XT. So you could consider another variation of the RX 6700 XT should the cost be cheaper or whatnot. But this is the one we're featuring for $319.99. Memory here is the Corsair Vengeance LPX 16 gigabyte kit of DDR4 3600 megahertz memory for $39.99, currently on sale. Storage is the crucial P3 1 terabyte NVMe SSD for $43.99. Power supply is the Thermaltake Tough Power GX2 600 watt power supply for $64.99. The case is the Zalman S2, $54.99, coming in at well under $800 at $782.93 at the start of the month here. All right, moving on to the last build, the budget build, the very entry-level type build. But this build has a lot of flexibility. So if you don't have much of a budget and you're getting into PC building, this is the perfect one to learn how to build, but also it gets you up in gaming, but also gives you a kind of possibility should you have more to spend in the future, such as adding a graphics card, as we're using the onboard graphics on the CPU here. So you will not have a graphics card, but you will be able to game, mind you, but at very, very kind of lower settings at, looking at resolutions at like 720p or into 1080p, for examples. But let's jump into it. And this build does come in actually under $500. So it is definitely very accessible. As soon as you start adding graphics card or a slightly better CPU, builds typically, right now, well, you might hit the $550, $600 range. So if you do want to up your budget a bit and just go straight for a build that's a little more robust, you can do that. Otherwise, jump into it with this one. So the CPU for the $500 gaming PC build of the month is the AMD Ryzen 5 5600G CPU with onboard Radeon graphics at $124 right now. Includes a cooler as well, so we're using the AMD Race Stealth cooler and no graphics card included, as I had mentioned, as this one includes the integrated Radeon RX graphics. The motherboard here is the Asus TUF Gaming A520 Plus Wi-Fi enabled motherboard for $99.99. The memory is the Corsair Vengeance LPX 16 gigabyte kit of 3600 megahertz memory, $44.99. Storage is the crucial P3 1 terabyte NVMe SSD for $42.99. Power supply is the Nimble Thermaltake Smart 500 watt power supply for $39.93, and the case is the Zalman S2 mid-tower gaming PC case for $54.99. And like I had said, this build for November 2023 comes in well under $500 at $467.88. So very, very accessible entry-level type build. But if you have any questions, do leave a comment. Visit the site newbcomputerbuild.com. Otherwise, take advantage of the sales this month. It is November, so you get Cyber Monday, you get Black Friday. You most likely can find some deals on things. But otherwise, if you have any questions, feel free to ask them. And best of luck building your gaming PC build for November 2023. Take care.